Thank you for joining us on the Kentucky Couples Travel Podcast. This is Clifton.
And I'm Whitney.
So this week we have a very exciting episode that we're going to bring to you all, and one that it's a trip that we have been looking forward to taking for a long time, and we just got back over the last couple of days, got unpacked, and now we're ready to make a podcast. We have just got back from Alaska.
Yay.
Yeah, so it was awesome. So this episode is going to be a little different than the one that we did last time. And kind of the way we'll do episodes going forward, which is kind of a top 5 list from each of us, things we liked, and then maybe one thing we didn't like. There was just too much this time. Whitney put some restrictions on me and said there's no way we can do this episode with just talking about 5 things. And I agree with that. There was just so many great things going on that we have to talk about. And so we'll go ahead and jump right into this. What we'll do is kind of just start at the beginning and work our way forward. So traveling now is different than it was
much different
before COVID. Everything in the world seems like it's different, from going to Walmart to work, and traveling is no exception. Maybe it's been affected as much as anything. So on cruises right now, there's a lot of policies, and depending where you go, there's even more. Canada had some where we went into Canada for one stop. But you have to have a COVID test. Even though we're vaccinated, and 95% of the boat with Carnival, and that's who we cruise with this time, has to be vaccinated, and we're vaccinated, you still have to have a COVID test. And in our situation, where everyone that went with us was vaccinated, we had a 72-hour window to go ahead and take that test, and we chose to do that at our local Walgreens. There were several tests you could take, and it didn't matter really if it was rapid or a several-day test. It just had to either be an antigen or a PCR, and we did a rapid PCR test is what our local Walgreens had, so it worked out. So I'm going to let Whitney tell you a little bit about kind of our first bump in the road at Walgreens. And just as a little heads up, to set the scene, on this trip was going to be myself, Whitney, my mother, Delilah, and then one of our good friends, Rachel. And Walgreens was going to be our meeting point, and we were doing that the morning of because the results were coming back in like 15 minutes.
And everybody had to work up until.
Yeah,
so the day before was hectic.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn it over to Whitney for just a moment and let her kind of tell you about that morning.
Well, the funny thing is, before we got up to this, like, we got out of school because we teach or whatever, and so summer break. So it's been kind of hectic. We had something going on every day before. It was already kind of stressful because we had packing and appointments and all this stuff. And I don't know why, as a woman, you feel like you need to do everything before you go on a trip. So I was trying to fit everything in. I was already stressed and whatever, and we were excited. And my friend Rachel was super excited for her because she had never flown. His mom had never flown. His mom had only been on one cruise. Rachel had never been on a cruise. And so we were so excited. So we had planned this for months. And the reason it came from, we actually had planned this trip in 2020. COVID came. We were supposed to leave June the 1st of 2020. We didn't get to go, obviously. It was canceled. We had on all this cruise credit we had to use this summer. So we went from, we'll plan a trip to the Bahamas to boom, let's do Alaska because of prices. And we'll talk about that later. Okay, so for weeks we had planned this with Rachel and his mom, and we'd even had meetings at our house, planned our excursions, planned our trip out. I mean, Rachel and all of us were so excited, and mostly, like, of course we were excited, but I was so excited for them, his mom and Rachel especially because she was so excited.
Yeah, she'd never been on a cruise and never flown.
And she loves to travel, and she's just kind of starting to do that. So we were just so excited for her. And we met there at the Walgreens, and we had our test. And when the results came back, the phones are ringing. Everybody's waiting on their test. Comes back, Rachel's positive for COVID. She hadn't been sick, all that at that time. I'm sure it must have been pretty early. She really hadn't been sick. She has really bad allergies anyways. I mean, she probably wouldn't have known, but she was positive.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended that right there because obviously you have to have negative test getting on the boat. So we were devastated for her. Like, it broke our heart. We were like, we didn't know, should we stay? Should we go? We didn't know what we should do. And Rachel was like, no, I want you to go. I want you all to go have a good time. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be fine. And then she ended up getting a little bit sick, I think, but she done really well with it. She had been vaccinated. And her family got sick as well later on, and they did well, and they were vaccinated as well. But we were just so sad.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking forward to getting to see your friend enjoy something and do something that, you know, it was a big trip for us, and we've traveled quite a bit, so I can imagine for someone that hadn't traveled as much what that was going to be like. So it was kind of devastating before
I wish I could express to you, like, how excited and how planned we were for this, because we had ordered things from Amazon. We had watched videos, what we should pack, what we shouldn't pack, how it should be. We had all these things planned out perfect, and boom. Yeah. So it was really hard for us. That really upset us. And then, you know, we kind of went from there and trying to get rushed into the airport and all this, and things just slowed us down, and it was a wild day.
I mean, she was out, like, before, like, she was at the place that we were going to meet and leave, and she doesn't even get to go. So that was a bummer. So needless to say, our test came back negative. We were good. We were in the clear, ready to go. All of our tests come back within 30 minutes, I would say. So
bummed.
But I will say this. If anybody's traveling and you need a COVID test, Walgreens was
quick,
excellent.
Very quick.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Efficient.
You had a call. I think Rachel's was probably within 15 minutes. I think from when she had taken hers, I think.
Such a shocker.
So, yeah. And so we took ours a little bit after her.
And needless to say, like, there's not been a lot of COVID going on around where we live. No. So it was kind of really shocking because.
Yeah, out of nowhere. She had no symptoms.
We have hardly had any cases in a long time.
Yeah. So we decided, you know, we're going. Our tests were clear, so we decided we would push forward.
By her blessing.
Yeah, with her blessing, we was like, "Hey, Rachel, you care if we go?" And she's like, "Yeah, go on. Have a good trip." And she's a sweetheart, anyways.
Very selfless.
So we'll make sure it'll be a good excuse for us to go back. Mm-hmm. So I guess the next little funny story from a switch from a sad story is my mother, who, like Whitney, may be one of the worst procrastinators in the world.
Help it. It's a woman thing.
So
I feel like for me, most women.
So I'm asking Mom the whole week leading up to it. I'm like, "Hey, you got your suitcase ready? Are you starting to get packed?" She's like, "Oh, I'll get it." And
I got it.
She's working and she's busy. She helps with my grandmother and all these things.
Work.
Yeah, she's always got something to do. But so I'm like, "Well, you got a suitcase. You need to borrow one of ours. What do you need?" Yeah, I've got it. Well, so we're flying out on Wednesday. Our cruise is leaving on Thursday. So I go up Tuesday night. Like Winnie said, we'd had appointments. Every day from when school went out until our trip, we had dentist appointments and eye doctor's appointments and all these things. So we were trying to get everything done before our trip. And so Tuesday, we come back from the eye doctor. It's evening time. I go up. Mom's off work, and I go in there, and she has an old-timey suitcase laid out. And it doesn't have, like, the wheels. It doesn't have the rollers that it rolls behind you. It's just a big, heavy suitcase that you're going to have to pack. And anyone that's flown or been on a cruise, you know, there's a lot of walking. And you don't want to lug a big suitcase packing around, especially when you're packing an 8-day trip.
Because we learned that hard the first time. Yeah.
6 nights on a boat in Alaska. You know, there's a lot of things, a lot of weather you have to pack for. I'm like, "Mom, that may not work." And she's like, "Oh, well, I think it'll fit everything." And so I was like, "Let me bring you one of mine." So I brought her one of my big, probably technically a carry-on, or 2 of those. And she's like, "Well, one's not going to work." So we brought her 2, and she's like, "Well, I don't know." She just wouldn't, satisfied with having to pull 2 of them. So we're on our way from where we live in Harlan County, Kentucky, and we met in Pineville, and we're going, and we stop in Corbin, just 30 minutes up the road, 45 minutes up the road, and we run into Burke's Outlet real quick.
Buy her a suitcase.
Yeah, buy her a new suitcase.
Pack in the parking lot.
And I'm like, "All right, Mom, we've got to consolidate these." So her and I were out in the parking lot, taking all our stuff out of each suitcase, putting them into one, and I'm like laying down on top of her suitcase, trying to get it zipped down into this one bag on our flight. But we got there.
We made it.
She didn't have to take anything.
We made it in pretty good time.
Yeah, we were there, I would say 2 hours before. That's where we like to be there maybe a little earlier. I'm not a procrastinator. I want to be there early.
I don't like to be there early
I
because
wanna
I
be
hate
there.
waiting all day at the airport.
I want to be there sitting bored. I'd rather not have to
Ugh.
stress about
That makes me anxious.
security. I don't want to have to think about that stuff. I don't want to have to think if traffic's bad. But we
I'm
got
like,
there.
plane's in, I want to get on and leave. I don't want to sit.
Yeah. So we got there plenty of time. Everything worked out perfect. We were there, honestly, through security, probably with an hour before the flight left. We
In time
got
to
our
get my
ticket.
snacks.
Yeah, Whitney got a snack at Subway, and everyone got to
Snack
use
on the plane,
yeah,
a snack in my backpack.
Everybody got to use the restroom and had a few minutes to spare before we boarded the plane, which was usually about 30 minutes before your flight leaves. So first, before we get into the flight, Whitney, anything about Cincinnati Airport that you like or don't like? This has been we've flown now, this is probably our fourth or fifth flight, always out of Cincinnati.
But we've also had a lot of connecting flights
Yeah,
in
we've had
other
connecting
places. We've actually stopped at quite a few other places.
But leaving home, there's several airports around. I know the Tri-Cities like Bristol, Johnson City, Kingsport, they have an airport.
We love
Knoxville,
Cincinnati.
Lexington, Louisville. But Cincinnati, just for
Always
anybody
cheaper.
that's maybe interested in flying or has only flown out of Knoxville or Lexington, one good thing about Cincinnati's airport is that it's an international airport, and obviously that means that they have flights that leave the country. But one of the things that it does is there are so many airlines there that you get better deals. There's competition, and when there's competition, you're going to get a better deal as a consumer. And so that's always generally been the case for us. And so that was the case this time.
We're usually Southwest flyers,
Yeah,
but we went through Alaska this time.
Yeah, flown with Alaska Airlines.
Best price.
But Cincinnati is an excellent airport.
Yeah.
It's not too small to where you don't have any choices. You're only stuck with one or two airlines. All the major airlines are there. Some of your smaller regional airlines are there.
Not dealt with a lot of delays.
But it's not too big.
No.
We've always been on time.
There's lots of things to shop, eat.
Yeah, plenty of restaurants. Just you're not overwhelmed. Everything's not really spread out. When you walk in, all the gates are relatively close. They have a great shuttle service where you park at. They'll drop you off right at the door. You walk in.
Great shuttle.
The ticket agents are there. Security's right
Everybody's
there past that.
friendly.
Yeah, everything's been excellent. So if you're interested in flying and you are in Kentucky or the surrounding area, and Cincinnati is not too bad of a drive for you, I recommend it. And
I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah, I will say this: it's not in Cincinnati. It's actually the Northern Kentucky Cincinnati International Airport.
Kinda
It's
in a
actually
little
probably
area off.
Yeah, if you're coming from the south like us, up 75, you're probably actually 15 to 30 minutes back this side of Cincinnati. It's in Hebron, Kentucky, so a little bit past Florence. So honestly, from Lexington, you can be to Cincinnati in 45 more minutes. So it's definitely worth it if you're saving $100 or $200 a person on a flight. That extra few minutes of a drive is worth it for us.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought everything went so smooth there. We get on the plane. This is the first non-stop flight that we'd had because we usually have to stop with Southwest and change planes. But it was like, about 4.5 hours maybe?
Yeah, 4.5 straight flight.
Smooth. And it shocked me because usually we get some turbulence over like the Rockies or out west. Was hardly no turbulence. They gave us plenty of good snacks, even though I had a lot of snacks. And I did order the food. Everybody laughs at me because I am like, I've got to make sure I have something to eat. I'm going to be hungry. So everybody laughs at me, but I did order the fruit cheese plates, and it was pretty good. One thing I can say about Alaska, I wasn't crazy about their food menu. It was really odd food.
Well, it's they're a West Coast based company, so
it was like
their menus are not the same as ours.
It's very different, though. And I'll eat pretty much anything, but the biggest thing I went with, though, I got the fruit and cheese. They brought it out. They gave us plenty of drinks. The bathrooms, I have to say, I've been on the other planes, and they're just small, and there's not very many. There's just like one in the front, one in the back, usually, or something like that. But they had like 3 or 4, I think.
3 bathrooms on this plane.
That was not bad at all. No. So I can say that was a positive experience. I know that's weird, but
yeah, there and back. Both times we flew on with Alaskan. Both times they were Boeing 737 900. The 737-900 on the way out, and the 737-800 on the way back. those are similar sized planes. The 900 may be just a little bit longer. Not positive on that, but
Flight was great.
good sized planes. You're looking at a 3-3 configuration, which it means there's a middle aisle and then 3 seats on each side of it.
And we're used to, I mean, just honestly, we usually get extra seats. That's just a thing we
Well,
like
and
to do.
Southwest is their flights. I don't know if you've ever been on a full flight until now.
No.
Completely
No.
full. So we've always had empty seats, kind of.
And I kind of wish, like, because we had all 3 of us as a family in one seat.
I thought we had plenty of room.
We'd have pretty good room. I'd like to have, like a little more, because I was kind of crunched in the middle.
Well, I'm a big guy. I take up a lot of room.
But I really enjoy, like, when we do travel a lot, we do get extra seats, and I like spread my leg out, spread my arms out, put my backpack out, my food out. I like a lot more room. I mean, that probably would be something if we fly again that's not Southwest that I would prefer. Even if we have to buy an extra seat, I would, just because I like the extra room. But just
here's
depends
what it
on
comes
price.
down to. Whitney has first class taste on economy and coach budget, and that's what it comes down to.
It's true. I have to say it. It's true.
I
I
will
like my
say,
space.
Like I said, we've only flown Southwest prior to this, but Alaska was a great airline. Everything was on time.
We really liked it.
Everyone that we met
Friendly.
was very friendly.
And the cool thing was, on the way down, we had a lady pilot. I don't think I've ever had a lady pilot. As many times we've flown, they haven't said if it was. No. And she was fantastic.
It was a great trip. Well, when you're going from Cincinnati out west, you have a lot of flat land, and then right at the end you have the Rockies, and you have all these mountain ranges.
She was great.
And there was some turbulence, but it was a relatively smooth flight. Wasn't anything major.
Landing, she's smooth when she landed.
Yeah. So also one thing I want to talk about, and if maybe as weird as this sounds, if we had done our top 5 list, one of the things that I had in my notes was the biscuits. Okay, so Southwest.
I need to look for those at once.
Southwest has. You get a soda and you get snacks, either pretzels or peanuts or trail mix. So that's it. With Alaska, like when he said, you could pre-order meals, but they also had snacks that you could buy. They had some complimentary snacks. And so what everybody got was the drink of their choice.
Pretzels.
A
They're good
bag
too.
of pretzels. And then later in the flight, kind of a little mini dessert. They brought this little pack of, I'd never seen them before.
I don't think
Lotus biscuits.
Okay, yeah.
So I can look those up, but describe what they were for.
They were kind of like, in my mind, they reminded me of a graham cracker, but way better, or like a Scooby snack cracker, but they were
Biscoff.
so much better.
Biscoff.
Yeah, and they were like a cinnamon, sort of cinnamon, sugary.
Like if you've ever had the Scooby snacks, they're like that,
but
they're
better.
a little bit. Yeah, they're better quality.
They were great. We loved them.
Yeah, so they were
That's
awesome.
something I probably am going to try to find for home.
I'd never had those, but when they brought it around, I was like trying to scope out if anybody wasn't eating theirs, but everybody was. Everybody seemed to enjoy them as much as we did. But I had no idea about them, but they were amazing.
So there we go. We land in Seattle.
Great landing.
Beautiful, beautiful landing. The sun was going down. The mountains are beautiful. Great landing. We got off there. We got an Uber. Right.
I will say, landing in Seattle was probably the most beautiful landing I've ever seen. Airport was kind of a basic airport, really busy, but landing was amazing. I don't know what I anticipated. I knew Seattle was close to mountains, and I knew they were on the ocean, but I did not anticipate that. I mean, snow-capped mountains.
And the sun going down under them.
So if you've not already, look at our Facebook page at all the videos or the pictures and videos, and some of those beautiful pictures are from the plane. Landing in Seattle was just phenomenal. Just
so we get out, so then we kind of move on. We get out of Seattle, or out of the airport. We go to our hotel. We spend the night. Then we get up, and we go to we took a shuttle. I love the guy on the shuttle bus. He was from Seattle, and he talks a little bit about it. And we drove by the Space Needle and
the
all
shuttle
that.
was a great program.
It was a really good program, very cost efficient.
Yeah, we stayed the night before our cruise left at the Country Inn and Suites near the airport. Very nice
decent.
hotel.
Yeah,
everybody was friendly. Just it was a standard hotel room, but we didn't land until 8:30. Probably got to the room by 9:30, and we're getting up and leaving the next morning. But one of the things that the front desk was really happy to tell us about was a service called Seattle Express. And that was a shuttle service to take us from our hotel to the cruise port and then back. So very cost effective.
It was cheaper than Uber or Lyft or whatever.
Yeah, by the
we
time you
ended up
do Uber a
saving
couple
money
times,
in the long run.
It was $35 a person, and that was round trip.
Yeah.
They come, they pick you up at your hotel front lobby. They handle your luggage. They take you to the cruise port, and super friendly. They give you a card, and they run shuttles every 5 to 10 minutes. And when we got back, they were already there.
And I don't know, if you've traveled lately, but Ubers and Lyfts are getting really expensive, and you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's kind of like you just never know what kind of person's gonna come. And a lot of times, we've had mostly friendly ones, but there have been some that haven't been the greatest. So it was nice just to have space and someone to help you out there. So they got us there.
Yeah, here in the South, we're not used to that awkward silence.
No, and a lot of them don't want to speak to you, and so we're like, hey, how y'all doing? And they're like, they just don't. Their headphones are in, they're annoyed, and we just move on. But the guy got us there. He was so nice. He told us stories about growing up in Seattle. He was super friendly. Everybody was friendly. We get there, and the next thing, yes.
Oh yeah, on the trip, I made some notes. So I'm a note taker, and so one of the things we noticed is a lot of people we come across in Seattle were not from Seattle.
Oh yeah,
they either were from somewhere else, or they were and moved to Seattle and were looking to leave Seattle. But this guy was from Seattle, super friendly, and he seemed to be proud of his hometown.
Yeah,
and I like that. He really loves Seattle.
Honestly.
But he mentioned some interesting things. So if you know anything about Washington and the Northwest and Seattle particularly, 2 of the major corporations in our country are based in Seattle, or started in that area, and that is Amazon and Starbucks. Those are everything, is Starbucks and Amazon. So he told us a couple things that were really interesting to me and almost hard to believe, so I want to share them with you. In Seattle, 48% of the downtown area, the commercial buildings in downtown Seattle, are occupied by Amazon. And so that's amazing. Think of a major city, bigger than any city in Kentucky. 48%. So might as well say half of it is occupied by one company. So it kind of lets you know how big Amazon is. And then he asked the question, right when we're about to the cruise port, he said, "Let me ask you something." He's got a Starbucks cup in his hand. He's drinking on it the whole way there. And he kept mentioning that. He's like, "This is how you know people that's really from Seattle. They always have Starbucks."
Which is true. I feel most people had a coffee in there.
Yeah. So he said, "We're always caffeinated." And he said, he took guesses. Everyone was from all over the country there. How many Starbucks are in downtown Seattle? Whitney, do you remember what he said? Do you remember the number?
No, I said it once I got it wrong. I thought 4 something, but it was way more, wasn't it?
In downtown, it's 450 Starbucks. In the greater Seattle area, so in that county that Seattle sits in, there are over 4,000 Starbucks. And I was like, that is unbelievable.
Wow.
But for almost every corner, every block had a Starbucks, it seemed like. So it didn't matter if you were in the good part of town, the bad part of town, there was a Starbucks. I guess when Starbucks took off there in Seattle, they knew they had a hit on their hand, and they decided to take it everywhere. But that kind of gets us to the cruise port. We were sailing out of, like I said, out of Seattle on the Carnival Spirit.
Port 91?
Port 91 on the Carnival Spirit. So if you've ever cruised before, Carnival Spirit, I would say, is a mid to smaller sized Carnival ship. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah. It's older.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an older ship. So, Whitney, why don't you talk a little bit about just the check-in process and all of that?
Well, when we got there, I felt like it was really simple. We had the bag people come up. They got our bags. A lot of people don't do that, and I guess I'm always like, why? Because we tip them like $5 or whatever, 10 maybe.
Customary is $1 a bag. I always, it was 3 of us, 3 bags. I give them $5.
So they put your luggage on, they roll it to the boat, and we're not pulling it and pushing it. So that was great to me, and I don't understand why people don't use it, but that's everybody's to their own. So we go in. It's pretty smooth. The lines. I think they must have been redoing the cruise port area there because it kind of was a little hectic, I felt like. I think they're remodeling, so it was just like small stations they had set up just for those purposes. It wasn't like They were just little stations that could be moved. So we got through the line really quick.
Yeah, I would say from the time we entered and to getting on the boat, 30 minutes.
We've done Faster to the Fun before and stuff, but I felt like this went pretty smooth. We didn't have it.
Well, yeah, Faster to the Fun is programmed to where you you skip lines when you get there to embark on your ship, and when you're there, your room's already ready. But they don't offer that right now during COVID. Hopefully, that's something they bring back.
Yeah, because if you go to the Bahamas and stuff, it's pretty worth it because it's crowded. But no, it wasn't crowded here. We go
very efficient.
Yeah, we go through and they're checking our COVID tests, checking all these things, our documents.
You have to have 2 apps right now when you're going into Canada. One is for Carnival, wouldn't matter where you're going. It's called Verify, and it just verifies that you're who you say you are and that you have your vaccine. So you upload all the information. And then Canada has a separate one through the Canadian government, ArriveCan. But both of them work great. They
Super easy.
They give you a little QR code, and that verifies everything. We never got out our vaccine cards. We had them with us.
They barely looked for anything, really. It was weird.
You scan them, and that was it. It was a really smooth process.
So I lost / maybe stolen. I'm not sure what happened to it, my wallet, but my passport was in it. So I had to take my birth certificate and I had to take our marriage license because my birth certificate said something different. So
and
they checked that.
The passport was in the mail when we got home.
Yeah, and they checked. Yeah, they checked my license and everything. So we went through all that. All that was super smooth. And then we go through. We get on the boat. The boat wasn't really crowded. It was the Carnival Spirit, and it's an older boat, and there's some things, I probably could say about that. But, Carnival's doing their best, I feel like, right now.
So here's a little bit about the Carnival Spirit. It was launched in July of the year 2000. It is a boat that's 963 feet long.
Which feels like yesterday, but it has been quite a while now.
Yeah, so that's 22 years,
wow.
Almost 22 years
that's
ago.
Unbelievable.
So you're like, that's a pretty new boat, but really 22 years old. 963 feet long, 12 decks. 10 of those are full-size decks. The others are kind of half, like one deck's just the water park. The other half's just like a putt-putt and a basketball court and things like a walking track, sun deck. But 12 decks. And when it's at capacity, it has 2,680 passengers and 930 crew members. So in the boat, in this kind of way they measure boats, it's 88,500 ton. So I would say mid to low end of the Carnival, at least the size of it. But it was fine.
It needed some updating, I'd say. Their
We've been on worse boats.
Yeah, their decor was a little. It is outdated, but it was different because it had originally been somewhere like where was it?
It was decorated a little different.
It was weird.
America. Yeah,
it's different for us.
It was built to cruise in Australia, and they've kind of split that up now. In the wintertime, it does Australian cruises, and in the summer, it does Alaskan cruises.
The decorations were kind of like Egyptian-y, strange. But anyway, and so it was kind of, our room was decent. I like balcony rooms. We didn't do a balcony room just simply because it was crazy different in the process, which was so weird because it was way different. So we didn't do a balcony, but I like balcony rooms.
I guess we could go ahead right here really quickly and talk kind of about prices.
Yeah.
So just kind of the way it worked for us, when we had originally scheduled it, it was way more expensive. I think it was around $1,000 a person. And Whitney and I had already paid ours, and Mom hadn't yet when we were originally going to go. We had paid our part as the deposit, and then Mom was going to pay a little closer time, and then it got canceled. So we had cruise credit. We got some back as a refund. Some was a cruise credit that we had to use. And in our instance, we had, and we said it was a good deal. The interior room was, I'm rounding here, $350 a person plus
crazy.
Taxes.
That's so cheap.
Plus taxes. So it come out after taxes and port fees, and Alaska port fees are a little more. So whatever the cruise price says, if you're going to Alaska, you're looking probably at $200 to $300 on top of that for taxes and port fees. So roughly, all in, I'm going to say that we were $650 a piece per person.
I think it was close to $1,200, right?
And I think what we had to pay out of pocket was between $500 and $600.
Port
the
fees.
rest of it, we had to pay our tax and port fees. The rest, cruise line covered because we had that credit.
And then gave us some back.
Yeah, and one of the great things was we had a ton of onboard credit.
Yeah.
I remember when I looked, I was like, I know they owe us more money somewhere. And I logged in, and they're like, you have $900 onboard credit. I was like, we're going to make $400 by going on this cruise.
We brought some back.
We brought
not as
some
much
back.
as we'd hope, because I like to spend.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, Whitney found something to do with that $900.
I did. Well, they do have shops there. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So it was great. So the Carnival Spirit, nice boat. And then our room was a standard interior room.
Yeah.
$600.
They're pretty small. So, I mean, I told Clifton, though, it does hold 4 people. Like, you can hold 2 twins, 2 bunks, or you can do a king and 2 bunks. But I don't see how people with families do that, how they would stay in there, because, we run into each other in, like, the hall area. Bathrooms are small. We kind of bump into each other. But, it was nice, and I appreciated it because it was...
So, the way it is, an interior room, in most... Carnival boats, at least the older ones, are like this. An interior room is simply 3 closets, a bathroom that has a toilet, sink, vanity, and a shower. Decent sized bathrooms, they're fine. Yeah. They're not probably what you're used to at home or anything, but they're decent size, maybe half the size of a hotel bathroom, something like that. And then a little desk, TV mounted on the wall, a little vanity, makeup mirror, and a bed.
Yeah, and you got the 2, and you got 2 nightstands.
2 nightstands, yeah.
But I have to say, they do really well with storage.
Yeah.
Because you can put your suitcases under your bed, plenty of storage in the closets, plenty of storage, the drawers beside you.
We probably, as far as storage-wise, we probably could have took twice as much stuff.
Yeah, and we have, because I've took twice as much. Yeah. I've actually took a whole suitcase of food before, but that's another story.
Yes. On a boat that has food around the clock, we take our own snacks.
Possibly.
So, I guess let's just talk a little bit more about the boat. Some of the things. I guess the biggest thing we need to talk about is the deal that Mom got.
Yeah, she was so lucky, and we were lucky because she was lucky.
Okay, so most
blessed.
When you look at tickets for a cruise online, and you see a price, they're advertising that for. Considering that your room is going to have 2 people in it. Okay. So our room, we'll say roughly was $1,200, $600 a person.
Interior.
Yeah, interior room. Well, we're planning this up. Rachel's bought her room, just like ours, couple down the hallway, end up not getting used, sadly. Well, I'm going to say a month out. Mom's like,
She was originally going to go.
Yeah, she was originally going to go, and then she decided
too.
She wasn't going to. And she's like, I wouldn't mind to go maybe. And she's back and forth. Like I said, she procrastinates and she can't make up her mind. But we love her. And so finally I'm like, Mom, listen, you're going. You want to go, just do it. I was like, you're never going to go and do things if you don't just make yourself. So I pretty much booked it for her. One day I'm at home and I'm looking and I'm on the computer. I was like, I'm just going to check for her. And so I get on there, I'm like, all right, 1 person. And so I'm assuming that she's going to pay what me and Whitney paid total for a room. And I get on there, I put in her information where she cruised before and all this stuff. And it pops up, balcony room, an extended balcony, which means it's wider than the traditional balconies. You would have had enough room for like a deck chair, a lounge chair to lay out in the sun or something.
There was actually 2 anyway.
Yeah, and 2 chairs there. And by herself for $210. Now, she had to pay port fees, so roughly I think the total come to $503.
It's amazing.
And that's the total price. A room by herself.
And we wanted a balcony and called back.
Yeah, we called back. And we're like, when we saw that deal, we was like, oh my goodness, what could we upgrade for? Maybe free, because apparently they're giving them away now.
No.
And they're like, okay.
Wrong again.
If you want to upgrade, and they punch it in, $1,000 more per person.
We were like, no, thank you. We'll just borrow hers.
How did she get this deal? So she was just a few doors down from us, but her room, same closet, vanity, bathroom, all that's the same.
But the room is bigger.
There's a couch.
Yes, couch.
That would fold out into a bed.
Yeah.
her king size bed to herself, a huge balcony, just this massive room she had all to herself for $500.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the best deal, and it made the cruise for us too, because we had this huge balcony that we could go and hang out on.
It was great.
So it worked out great. So she paid less for the balcony, the whole room by herself, than one of us paid for our little interior room.
Yep.
So it was a blessing for us, and I'm sure she enjoyed it. But it was an incredible deal. So right now you can really get some good deals cruising where it's starting back up. They were shut down for almost 18 months.
It's a great time to do bigger cruises that are harder to afford.
Yeah, because like we said, the boat normally holds 2,680 passengers, and we were told that there were 1,800. So, a little over half of what it can hold. So at times there were some places that just felt almost empty on the boat, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So, and we'll talk a little bit about the boat inside things that we had to do. First, I want to say we had an amazing room steward. He was always, I forgot his name, and I feel terrible for that, but he was awesome. He was so kind. He brought us ice every day. He had a room clean before 12 every day. When we would go out, we would come back to a clean room, ice, fresh linens, animal towels, and some of those people, I know they say that's pretty typical of a cruise, but sometimes you have room stewards that don't go the extra mile and do the thing. So we appreciated him. He was great.
And it wasn't just what he did; it was the conversation.
Yeah, he would actually have conversations with you. So sweet. I
felt like every time we would go out in the hallway, he was there.
He would say, "Hello, Whitney. Hello, Clifton."
He knew our names. When we got there, he'd come in, introduce himself. He said, "Hey,
when do you want me to come?"
Yeah, he said, "Do you want me to come in the mornings, or do you want me to come in the evenings, like a turn down service? And do you, is there anything you need?" And the only thing, we're pretty low maintenance. We just said,
ice.
just bring us a bucket of ice,
because I like to have some in my cup. But yeah, he was great. He was so great, and all that went perfectly well. Everything was so neat and clean, and I feel like so with Carnival, used to, I know that. There were some things that were different from our last cruises before COVID. There's definitely not as much staff. They're definitely understaffed. So I appreciate the extra mile even more from the people that we were able to engage with, and the people who was working on the boats. They really tried, because they were really working hard.
Yeah, and when we say understaffed, they're not like
nobody, but
it's not that it's not inadequate. It's just maybe restaurants may have
a little longer wait.
Like normally, the buffet will open at breakfast.
It's all day long.
It's open until midnight. They would maybe just go, all right, breakfast is from 6 in the morning until 11:30. Then we'll open back up for lunch at 1 to 3, and then dinner from 6 to 9.
Yeah.
And so it's not continuous. Now, there's always something. Like the pizza place was always open from
the only thing 24/7, I think, was pizza, right? And room service.
Pizza would close at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
So it's almost around the clock, but it's just those little things. And the biggest thing, and some people are bad not to do this, is just patience. I mean,
be patient. Tip them.
We
tried to give extra because they were working so hard. Some people I would see for long hours, and the same people doing a lot of the same things over and over, and they worked hard. And I have to say that I missed more around the clock buffet and things, because I get hungry probably random times, and then if we would do something late, there's not a lot of stuff late, and you get sick of, you just get tired of pizza. I miss the midnight buffets, and I miss some of the other things, but they done their best. They were very efficient at what they were doing, the best they could, and we met some awesome people on the boat, really awesome people. One waiter we had, his name was Toot Toot, right?
Yeah, Tutt.
And we thought he was joking at first. He was like, "My name's Toot Toot," like Toot Toot, like a train or whatever. And he was so nice. And if you check out our videos, I actually have him dancing in the video. He was so happy, and he did so great. But we do my time dining, so we can go anytime instead of a set dining time. So we do get a lot of different waiters and a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that it bothers me to see is when you're somewhere and people are working so hard, and just because it maybe takes, dinner that's 4 or 5 courses. If it
You're on a boat. Where are you going, man? I mean, seriously, where are you going to go?
If it takes 15 minutes longer than it did before COVID, right now while they're understaffed, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Enjoy it.
I would just sit and talk and look out the window. I mean, you have a beautiful view. I mean, it's not like you're going to be landing or stopping and getting off the boating time.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing something.
If you are, playing around it. Playing around the things you want to do.
People love to do. I mean, it's a sacrifice for a lot of people.
And they go out. I mean, they try to learn your name. They're doing all these things. So that's the one thing I can say is the people were nice. And like this girl we met, she done a lot. Her name was Jessica. I think she said she was from Liverpool. But she was so sweet. We loved her. She did karaoke several times. And she did so thanks. And karaoke, let me say it because we posted some of it. Karaoke is my favorite, even though I complain. Clifton's like, please sing. I'm like, no, because it makes me super nervous. I get really tore up about it. I'm like, every time they're like singing, I'm like, want to run out the door. I love to listen to other people. There was some amazing singers on the boat. Yeah. Amazing singers. Like that's the first time I really ever been where they had such good singers.
Yeah. There was a lot of talented people.
We had a blast with the karaoke. I had a blast, and it was just so fun. And that girl did great at that. She also did a few of the games, but she also did something that we had never done on a boat before. It was called Soul Play was the name of the thing, and I adored it. It was actually like a painting class, and it was free.
Yeah, have you ever done or heard of like a coffee and canvas, or
painting with a twist or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. You just go. There's an instructor that you have a painting that you're going to do, and they're going to show you how to do it step by step, and it's really easy if you have any artistic ability.
Poor Clifton. I mean, he tried, but I mean, it's not terrible. I brought it home. He told me to leave it, but I was like,
I tried to leave it. I tried to, and he's like, no, I'm packing it. I'm going to make it fit. I'm like, please, I will sacrifice the weight.
Nope, I took it. I brought it. So you know what I think there is some pictures on there. You can check that out too. But it was so fun.
Don't make fun of me.
It was so fun, and I loved it. And she did great with it. She was there and another girl, and I just love that. I think they should do that on every boat. We loved that. So between karaoke and that was a blast. I love to watch other people. They had line dancing classes and all these things. We just watch people. They're so funny to watch. I mean, there's a lot of good people watching. So, and we have a really weird story that we can tell you. We met a friend. Yep. Well, actually a few friends, but we made a really good friend.
So we were at our really hotel weird. The morning we're about to leave, and we're eating breakfast, and I'm in the waffle line, and I see this young man. He ended up being around 20 years old, and he's got on a hoodie that says West Liberty Fire Department, and I hear him talk, and I'm like, he's not from Seattle.
He's from South somewhere.
I was like, he's from somewhere, and I know there's a West Liberty close to here, and so I'm like, hey, buddy, I said, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from Kentucky. And I said, me too. I said, are you from West Liberty? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm from Morgan County. And I said, well, I'm from Harlan County. And so we met him. His name was Chandler. And turned out
you'll hear this, how Chandler, if you're listening.
Yeah, it turned out that he had flown on the same flight we had stayed in the same hotel we had stayed on, and was going on the same cruise. We were in line with
him. I saw him in line, but we didn't talk to him. And then
so we're doing all these things again. So we just spoke, and he's like, he said, hey, that's cool. He said, we'll have to get together and do something on the boat. I was like, yeah, no big deal. That'd be great. Never really thought much else about it. And so we get to our room, and we're hanging out on Mom's balcony. We lean over and look, and he is like one balcony between us and him. So we've flown together. We stayed in the same hotel. We ate breakfast together. We got on a ship about the same time, and we're neighbors on the boat. So we made
great friends with him, and we karaoke'd with him, and he went on some excursions with us, and we hope to get to hang out with him again.
Awesome guy.
He's awesome.
We've made probably a lifelong friend.
He was so funny on his own. He was just a comedian. He cracked us up, and we went to a few shows with him, did a few things. We had a lot of fun. It was just nice to have somebody that liked the same things and was similar to you. So because we were really different compared to a lot of people.
So this is clearly not going to be one episode. We're not going to be able to fit everything in one episode. I told Whitney we wouldn't. So here's how we're going to try to wrap this up, and we'll split this into two parts, and maybe have two this week. We may record another one tomorrow. Let's do our two favorite things about the boat. Okay. And things on the boat.
Sounds good.
And maybe one thing you could do without or would do different, okay?
You know me. I like to tell, but I don't like sometimes.
We'll wrap up with a we'll jump to the end, and then we'll talk about all the stops and the great things about Alaska
On the next
episode. So, Whitney, tell us one of your favorite things about the boat.
Okay. I guess one of my favorite things is there's just a lot to do, but I love karaoke. Like, I had a blast. That was so much fun and just so interesting. So many people, and we made a lot of friends in there. Like, I really got attached to those people, and I hated to see them go because we just kind of made a little friend group in there, and everybody like the same people singing every night. And
so I love it just to watch. I don't sing.
I like just to watch it.
I don't paint, but Whitney's opposite. She's talented and she sings great, and she won't say this, but I will. By the time I talk her into doing karaoke, she sings, and by the time we're off the boat, she has a fan club. Like, the workers on the boat are coming up to her and being like, "You sing phenomenal." So, like, we went and I talked Whitney into singing. She sings the first night. And then the next day we go back and we're about to leave, and this lady looks at her. She's like, "You're the only reason I came here tonight." So she had to sing again.
And it's funny because I kept getting requests to sing.
They were called in requests,
and
for
I
her to
was
sing.
like, I've never sung that in my life. So
yeah, I thought they were going to put Whitney on staff at one point.
It's embarrassing.
So it was so funny. But yeah, karaoke is something we always enjoy doing on the boat. It's something we never do at home, but here is great. Now for me, my number one thing, any Carnival boat that I've been on, is the brunch.
Oh yeah.
On sea days, and
I wish it was like every day, all day.
Yeah, they always have a breakfast in the main dining room, but you have to get up pretty early, and we did that a couple times.
Yeah.
But on sea days, the days that you're not in port, that you're sailing, they have what's called a sea day brunch, which means breakfast lasts from like 6 in the morning, and they extend it to like 11:30 till just before lunchtime, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
I could eat that breakfast every day.
Me too, and I wish they did have that more because it's great. It really is.
To me, it's the best food of any cruise ship food. I love breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, anyways. But it's
not mine.
It's
but
good
I
quality.
like it that good. So yeah, I could eat that. I could eat that in the evening. It would be great.
Huge variety, and it's things that as much as you want, and anything on the boats like that, like in the dining room, if you want 2 appetizers and 2 entrees and 2 desserts, you can do that.
And there's pictures. I have some pictures of some of our food. So.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I mean, I'm a picky eater. I just ate toast and strawberry jam and bacon, but man, it was good.
It was great. I loved it.
Cooked the bacon perfectly.
It's great. It's great. So if you go on a cruise, if they say sea day brunch, check that out.
Yeah, check that out. I know sometimes they have like a cereal encrusted French toast.
That was on.
You had omelets, and so it's just
omelets are my favorite.
What egg ranchero?
Yeah, that was really good. I tried to try a few different things, but I am a omelet and French toast, and that is my favorite. And I can't hardly get away from it, but I did order other things to try. So, and his mom did, and. Yeah,
it was amazing. So, what's something else about the cruise that you liked?
I'm trying to think something we haven't talked about.
I think for me, I like the main theater on this boat.
Yeah. The seats were comfortable.
It was laid out really well. It was 3 stories, but every seat was really comfortable. You could see great from everywhere.
And I like the Deal or No Deal. That was a really fun game. Yeah. You could not play. You could pay to play or not and play along, or you could just go watch. And I just thought that was really fun because Deal or No Deal is like my favorite.
It's fun.
Clifton says it's because there's no skill to it, really. So yeah, but I don't like games with a lot of skill anyway.
So anytime you're on a cruise, check out the shows. Like, they're all not going to be for you.
Some of them aren't. Some of them are
but they'll tell you, like, if it's we don't go to anything.
And if there's something, even if I get in it and I don't like it, well, we just leave because you're not paying for that.
It's all included, and so it's generally great shows. We watched we watched one where they sang like 60s music and beach music. And it was a really cute show. Remind you maybe something that you would see at Dollywood or. Wouldn't like to live like a Broadway play like some boats have.
Good.
But it was great. It was good production value. Everybody's super friendly, very talented people on board. So we just enjoyed that. All right. So anything that stood out to you that you didn't like about the boat?
I'll just give my few little lists.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not crazy about cruise food. And I know that's a shocker. A lot of people are like, I love cruise food. I love the buffet. I love this. I love that. And I like it the first couple of days, but I feel like the food gets redundant and they have a lot of the same things over and over.
I thought on this boat that was probably the biggest
Yeah, it's like
negative on the boat
every
for me was there
yeah.
wasn't variety.
No, and I feel like they try to be very like exotic and some people may like that and that's fine if that's what you like. But I always felt this way about every cruise is I don't feel like a lot of their foods match and go together like a meal. So like you would have like if you had fried chicken, you might have some type of pasta and then you might have like egg rolls or something. I mean, it was just random and I like things to go like if you got chicken, potatoes, which I guess that's me and I'm a southern person and that's just how I'm used to eating.
You know, and I've wondered too if like
it's cheaper.
Well, and the reason like maybe this cruise particular there wasn't as big of a variety is just supply chain stuff. They're just kind of maybe fixing what they have access to. And they have a lot
of things too that's like I think that they'll keep make it last for a longer period of time. Like the breads are usually a harder type of bread,
like French bread or baguette.
There's not really any like biscuits or rolls that are soft. So, but yeah, and I just kind of get tired of the same thing. So like, especially this is probably one of our longer cruises, and I got tired of the food.
Yeah.
So the food was that for me. I'll just do mine real quick.
But a good way, let me say this, to offset that is when you're in port, grab something to eat.
That's what
it's
we
a little
do.
different.
It helps because I do get sick. Yeah. And I love Guys Burgers. They're great. And I love the taco place. It's good too. But just after a while, it just gets old.
I think it's mostly the main dining room for us. It's just kind of redundant.
I'm not into that kind of food.
Some people love it.
Yeah, like some people are like, yes, I love the octopus, the frog legs, and I'm not gonna eat that.
Yeah, our pastor, like he adores it. Like every night when he goes on a cruise, I know they've been on 2 or 3. Like from the get go, he's telling them, okay, I want 2 entrees right from the beginning. So he loves it.
And this time I'll have to say the portions were much smaller, so it was they did give smaller portions. It was a little different, but that's me. I'm not a cruise food kind of person. That's why we do take quite a few snacks, and we try to eat off the boat just so I don't get tired of it. I got a little sick of the food this time. I was really really glad to see another restaurant.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and then we were able to get a lot of times on a cruise on Carnival, you're not able to get in the pools or the hot tubs because they're too crowded. We did this time because it wasn't as crowded because it's pretty cold out, but their heated pools and their hot tub wasn't real warm. Yeah. It didn't bother me too bad. Clifton likes it really hot, but I still felt like it was a little cool. I almost felt like bath water, sort of. Like, it's not
even bath water
no,
for me.
Not for him.
My showers would be much hotter.
But now I feel like they could heat those up a little bit. So that was that. And then another thing, I wish I would have taken some seasick patches because we didn't mention it. So far, I have never gotten seasick on all the cruises we've been on, and I got pretty sick this time. Those waters are pretty rough.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. The waters up there, they are rougher, and I know we had it better than some people. And the boat was a little narrower. It's designed to be able to go like up the inside passage, so it's not like a super wide ship like some of them. But that allows it to go beautiful places. But, yeah, especially the first morning we were out at sea. Man, it was rocking.
It was.
I woke up at like 3:30, and I'm like, boys, I'm moving. And it was.
Well, I could hear like the closet and things. Like you could hear like the clothes hangers
kind of shifting
and things. And I just laid there because I felt like I was rocking back and forth. And then like if you got up to go to the bathroom, like Clinton's mom got up to go to the restroom, and she said in the middle of the night and like got slung into one of the doors.
Yeah.
And that's very unusual for that. And
now I will say most people seem fine. The workers, it wasn't phasing them at all.
No.
I think if we'd have been a little more prepared, like we never had trouble really with being seasick.
I've never taken a seasick.
So I think if I would have took it ahead of time, it may have made it a little easier or had a patch on.
I wish I would have bought patches.
But once I took the medicine, it got my system, I was fine from there on out. Like, every once in a while you would feel it, but it didn't bother you.
It bothered me once more, like when I got up to pack and do some things like that before we were about to leave, so I got a little sick then. And one funny thing is one time we were in the elevator, and I don't know what happened, because we were in the elevator, so I didn't see it, but they said it was a big rock that it even had took some of the water out of the pool. It slung the water out, but it knocked Clifton across the elevator into the wall. Like it was, and we were actually for probably a few seconds, it felt like we were completely sideways.
Yeah,
but it went back. Me. So that was so unusual for us, and I really from now on, no matter when I go, I'm going to take a patch just in case.
Yeah, just in case,
because I don't want to be seasick again. But for the most part, between the food, the seasickness, and the pools not being warm and stuff, that's pretty much And then I would prefer something at nighttime because we actually went on we'll talk about that later, a late excursion. And we got back. It was really late and we didn't get there wasn't anything really to eat. The lines were too long. So.
All right. I have one negative that you've not talked about, and I'm not going to say any names. And I've never experienced this before. To see a comedian completely bomb.
You're going to say it.
So our friend Chandler, like one of the things he wanted to do, he's like, "Hey, let's go check out one of these comedy shows." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So we looked and we went the first night. We're like, "All right, we're going to go."
It was clean comedy.
Yeah, we're going to go see this girl. And like, so the way the comedy shows are, they'll have a different comedian every day, or they'll alternate, and they'll have an early show that's usually family friendly, and then they'll have a evening show that's kind of adults only, and we've always avoided those. So I can't say how adult they are. I can't say if they're offensive. I know none of that. We've never been. So this lady gets on stage,
it was so
and
bad.
She seems a little disconcerted. She said she hadn't got much sleep, this and that. And I don't know. It just, like, she tells her first joke, and there's just no reaction. Like, I don't know if she ever forgot to bring the punchline. It wasn't funny. And and I just was like, bless her heart. And it just got so uncomfortable. And then I felt like she was making an excuse like, well, I'd be funnier if I could cuss, or I would be funnier if I could
say something out of the way.
say something out of the way. And she kept like complaining because she was having to.
Then it went on and she started just bashing herself.
Yeah. And then she was like, okay. So she looks back at the guy that's running the lights and the sound for her, and she's like, okay, I know I'm probably getting close to done. I know this is a 30-minute set. And she's kind of like producing in front of the audience. And I'm like, this is weird. And she's like, so just flash a light when I've got like 6 minutes left in this 30-minute set, and I can get my last joke in 30 minutes or in 6 minutes. And so she's thinking she's almost done. Like, she may be about to run out of time. I looked down. She'd been on stage for 8 minutes.
It was horrible. And it was so embarrassing.
So the next 15 minutes was just like pulling teeth. So, like I said, I'm not going to say her name, but I've never experienced a comedian bombing, but I have now. And let me tell you, I hope it wasn't as uncomfortable for her as it was for me.
It was terrible.
I felt bad.
I have to say, I was like humiliated.
I mean,
I felt like I was watching a bad American Idol audition.
Yeah, it was. It's a bad American Idol audition. Like,
it was bad. It was just cringeworthy.
No reaction. A room full of people and just nothing. And I was like, well, I've got 2 or 3 stories I could tell that would, really help her out.
Some help, lady.
Yeah. But that was about it. I mean, if that is the worst, just tired of some food and a little bit of seasickness and then one bad comedian.
We're good with that.
Yeah, we're good with that. So, like I said, we were blessed to take this trip, and we're almost at an hour. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to tell one last story here, kind of, I guess, the biggest story of our trip. And then we will come back with episode 3 of the Kentucky Couple Travel Podcast, which will get into all the stops and all the great things about Alaska. On the next one, we'll probably try to do that maybe the next day or two, have that out.
I know you guys are ready to hear what Alaska has to offer.
Because that's amazing. That's the bulk of it.
But we just want to make sure you understand the cruising and all that stuff right now.
So, one last thing before we go. So, the day kind of before we, excuse me, that's a little foreshadowing probably. The day before our cruise ends, Mom has kind of been coughing around, and there's different trees blooming up there, and we're like, oh, it's allergies. No, she's like,
people worried, so crazy cologne.
I got a little bit of sore throat. Yeah, Mom's like allergic to cologne, and they're selling cologne. There's people that love cologne. And she's like, that's choked me to death, and she's always saying that. Well, we get off the boat. She's still coughing. Whitney starts coughing.
My throat's
and I'm like, I'm freezing. And they're like, well, I ain't freezing. So I checked my temperature. I got 102 temperature. And we're like, oh, my goodness. So we get home and take a COVID test. And now we have COVID.
Yeah, we're out of quarantine now.
Yeah, today's our last day in quarantine. We've been at the house recording this is our last day, so it's only 5-day quarantine now.
I didn't have a lot of symptoms. Yeah. Actually, it was so much different than the
first
time.
Yeah, it's just like I had cold. Like we had COVID back when.
Just been coughing, sniffling.
Yeah, we had the
So yeah,
the original COVID, and so yeah, like I said, and from the looks of things, we weren't the only ones. Our
cruise director had COVID.
Kind of the Facebook group about this. And that's one of the reasons I even thought to test was that we got the boat and somebody's like, well, just a heads up, I tested positive for COVID.
And it was like, no, I tested, then I tested.
And then so many people were, and we're like, well, maybe our sniffles is COVID. And so
guess what?
The cruise director had it. So, yeah. So, Mom, Whitney, and I all were positive for COVID by the time we got home. But we're out of quarantine now. We're ready to rock and roll, still with a little bit of a lingering cough, and my ears still not unpopped from the flight. But still, a great trip.
Glad to be home.
Yeah. Yeah, always good to get home, but an amazing trip that we'll talk even more about next time. And we just appreciate everybody listening. Hopefully, you will enjoy looking.
Yeah, we hope you're enjoying.
Yeah, look at our pictures. Join our Facebook page. 2
videos up on our new YouTube.
Yeah, we have a new YouTube channel
and
that you can check out.
Instagram.
Yeah, a new Instagram, Facebook. Also, don't forget, we have our blog. We'll have our Alaska blog post up sometime tomorrow at KentuckyCouple.com. You can check all that out. Some pictures will be going up. We'll have links to all of our pages, links to this podcast. So, guys,
also want to say
listening.
One little thing. And we did a contest, and we want to congratulate our winner was Taylor Caldwell. We give away. Actually, she won twice because we give away 2 Alaska shirts.
Yeah, we had a first time. We just said we're going to buy somebody an Alaska souvenir.
And we did the share, comment.
And so we had probably 10 or 12 names. We pulled Taylor's out. She won that.
And then we accidentally bought one.
Ended up with an extra shirt, and we said first person to comment on this, and it ended up being Taylor.
Was the
first. She got it for her little brother.
So Taylor Caldwell has won our shirts, and we will be sending those out in the mail.
For Taylor and Brenton.
Yep.
So, guys, like I said, we sure do appreciate everything that you've done to support us. Just keep reaching out. Let us know if you're enjoying the podcast.
And if there's something you want to hear or us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And make sure you share it with people. Let them know. Tell your friends about it. And hopefully this is something that you're enjoying. But thanks for listening. See you guys.
Bye.